Good morning. Today is the 24th of October. Man, 24th of October already. And welcome to David's Water Community, where it is simply a great day to start a business. A lot of things have been happening in the world of business. Small business owners everywhere are very much concerned with what's going to be happening in the upcoming elections and who is going to uh, win the elections and lead this country out of the doldrums of our economy, create new jobs. And I wonder if, from what I've heard so far, how much I mean, obviously, the President of the United States is the leader of our country. But I think more importantly, the success of small business is not going to be determined by whatever agenda, whatever president might have. I think the success of small business is going to come from what happens in Congress and what happens not only in Congress and in the Senate of the United States, the House of Representatives, but what also happens in our individual states where we live. That is the true future of American small business. We know that taxes are a very important part, and when you uh, impact the taxes of individuals in this country, be it the highest level, the middle level, the lowest level, there's going to be some type of ramification with small business because small business owners might have a very large small business and they are in the upper levels of taxation. Most of America's small business owners fall into the middle someplace, and there are probably some small business owners who are in the bottom uh, tax levels. I don't know. I've never seen any kind of data to support wherever anybody is, but it really doesn't matter. We have to have an environment, an economy that is favorable to the startup of new businesses and the growth and development of existing businesses. It happens with uh, availability of money. It happens with not just the availability of money, but what does it cost? What does that money cost in order for an individual to make an investment in their company, to grow it, or to start it? So it's not it's a somewhat of a complex situation to try to figure things out in the big picture, but there are things that must be done very directly if we're going to get our economy kick-started, really just kick-started, because we have a long way to go in order for us to get back to some sense of normalcy in our economy. As a matter of fact, if you follow the information I share with you, the data, the hard facts, we are only creating less than one half the new jobs that need to be created every month if we're going to get back to some sense of normalcy. Just less than one half. Where do where do 60% of new job creation actually come? Where does it start? It starts with new businesses. 60% of new job creation starts with new businesses. And job number one is always started when that entrepreneur like yourself starts a business. That's job number one. Basically, davidsbarter.com is our community. It's myself doing all the things that need to be done to uh, manage the community, run the community, grow the community, and I have technical assistance, the development of all of our technology. Everything that you see in davidsbarter.com is something that was developed specifically for the community by Curtis. And he spent a couple years, almost 3 years, and still continues to study the technology, test the technology, upgrade the technology. There is so much that happens behind the scenes. If you go to our homepage, if you will, because we're not a traditional website. We are a web community of landing pages. And there's a big difference. There's a very big difference, because it is our objective to drive traffic. Well, first of all, to bring traffic to the front door of the community. Bring it to davidsbarter.com. Once inside that front door, to drive that traffic to the now approaching 500 landing pages that we have in the community. Yes, almost 500 landing pages now. And it's a very interesting process, and we're basically doing it with the technology platform, the social network technology platform that Curtis has built, with my social marketing experiences of 40 years, over 40 years, and creating a community where we have proven for ourselves that a new business can be started. I've been specifically yesterday, we launched an effort to talk to folks who are over 60 years old about starting a business. And the discussion that I have with those folks aren't any different, really, than the discussions that I have with anybody of any age. As a matter of fact, as concerned as I am with folks, the baby boomers, starting businesses today, those folks who were born between the years of 1946 and 1964, I'm as concerned, if not more concerned, with getting students of entrepreneurship interested in starting a business, because the students of entrepreneurship are the future of entrepreneurship in this country. And I have an obligation. I have an obligation as a dedicated entrepreneur to share my experiences with folks who have never started a business. That is major to everything that I do. I'm obligated to do that as an entrepreneur. I am willing. I love to give back to that society that has given so much to me in the last 40 years. My small business experiences have been tremendous. My approach to business and my approach to business is very, very different than the traditional approach to business. I have, for the most part, done my own thing, either for myself or at periods of my life. I've actually got involved in project work where I guide folks through the processes of growing their business or starting their business with a specific objective in mind. The thing that sets me apart, puts me into what it is I do best, is marketing and sales. all that I've really ever done. I'm not an operations person. I'm not a technology person, although I've learned a great deal about technology. I have learned how important making the right technology decisions are today versus the decisions that I made 40 years ago, 30 years ago, 20 years ago. The two greatest challenges confronting anybody, be they in business or be they starting, if they're starting a business, are social marketing, social network technology. We live in a much different world today than I started in business. Much different world. We communicate differently. And it's incumbent upon each one of us, if we're in business, to understand how people best communicate. How are we going to find the people who we want to be our customers? How do we find them? We even find a shift in the business paradigm of very traditional companies like Walmart. Walmart is a good example. Walmart was started in the 60s, maybe even in the 70s. It's that young of a company. And it was always the business objective of Sam Walton, who started Walmart. He wanted, when folks came into his store, he wanted them to have the trust and the confidence that they were going to be paying the best price available to them, either as consumers or as his business division, his small business division called Sam's Club was created. He wanted folks to have the comfort that when they came into his store, they were going to get the very best price available. That was his driving factor. And in trying to achieve that goal and objective, staying true to his mission, he has had, his company has made some very difficult business decisions, some that have been very unpopular with the marketplace. When he made, well, I can vividly remember when he first got started in the first, I don't know, 10, 15 years of Walmart, you saw very clearly that they were buying goods made in the USA. Then at some point in time, he couldn't make that claim. That could not be one of his claim to fame, that he was forced to buy from China. And it was at that time that things became potentially unpopular with as much as he was buying from China. But he was able to buy the goods, the products, at a much cheaper price. And that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate that he had to travel all the way to China to make that happen. And in fact, today, Walmart is either the second or third largest purchaser of Chinese-made items, even greater than all the rest of the countries in the world. It's amazing. Now, another thing that is just very interesting to me, I just read about it last week, was that Walmart was testing a program where there would be same-day delivery of the product that you bought online. One would think that that's not such a big deal because he has thousands of stores, and if you buy it online, the chances are very good that it's going to be in the store already, a store somewhere. And I don't care where you live in this country, you do have a Walmart store someplace not that far away from you. But why did they come out and actually make the statement and guarantee same-day delivery of products that you could buy online? That answer is really very simple, and one that wasn't made public necessarily. If you could read between the lines, you had it figured out that Amazon.com has made such an impact, and I guess you put eBay into that category also, has made such an impact on online purchases that in order to react to that, Walmart had to say, okay, if you buy a product online, I don't know if you've ever been to Walmart online or Sam's Club online. Quite honestly, I don't think they have very good sites, but be that as it may, they made that claim. And on the other side of that argument is that Amazon.com sells so much product now that they are in the business of building warehouses in this country. And why are they building warehouses in this country? So that they can compete with the likes of Walmart. So it's one of the most interesting phenomenons of business in this country. What has online done to this in this country? Because so many people communicate online, that's how people are buying. The online marketplace expands exponentially. Almost every day, more and more people are buying online. Buying online gives you the opportunity to do research before you buy your product. And you don't always have that advantage when you walk into a traditional box store, if you will. They might have an ad, and they advertise 100 items or 200 items in that printed ad that you get at your front door, through the mail, in store, however you get distribution of that ad. And those are the things they advertise. Those are the specials of the week, if you will, to get you into their stores. We do, in fact, live in a changing marketplace. And it's incumbent upon us, if we want to be in business and we want our businesses to grow and develop, that we stay in tune, that we understand consumer behavior, as we always have to. We understand the behavior of why and how people make buying decisions. That really has changed the marketplace on how people make buying decisions. And we need to understand that. And there's a whole new thing that has happened in relatively, well, it's been around for a long time, but the growth and development of it has really been dramatic in the last 10 years. And that's use of the mobile phone. And it's not just mobile anymore, it's a smartphone. And you take your computer from your desk and you carry it with you wherever you go in the form of a smartphone or in the form of an iPad. I try to keep up with all the technology. I have 2 PCs in this room. I have my Mac, I have my iPad, and I have my smartphone. And that's how I keep in touch with the world. That's how I communicate to the world. And it's different. Actually, it has made the operation of things much easier than it ever was. It's made it much easier, much simple, much more efficient. But what it has done has created a bigger, a more universal marketplace. And that's exciting. That's good stuff. That's progress. That's things moving forward. We always have to keep things moving forward. I got a little off track from where I wanted to actually go today. We're going to talk about, in the next segment, dialing up your entrepreneurial traits. What does it take? What are the traits necessary to be a successful entrepreneur? We're going to talk about innovation versus creativity. Sometimes the lines of innovation and creativity become very blurred. We're going to try to unblur some of that for you today, particularly as you start a business. When you start a business, you must be innovative. No question about that. But at the same time, you must be creative in how you take your marketing message to the marketplace. So we sometimes confuse innovation and creativity. We're going to try to unconfuse that for you today. And the third segment that we are going to talk about is how to start a business in a few hours. So I'm going to take a brief break, and we'll be back shortly.